Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andres Sooklal, and I'm not alone today. I have James Baird on the set, and we're continuing our football fiesta where we're speaking about the Euros. And today, James, we kick things off with Hungary taking on Portugal. The game ended 3-0 to Hungary. With 2 goals from Cristiano Ronaldo and Rafael Guerreiro. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But James, this was an exciting game. A lot of people, whether you like him or not, I've been paying attention to Cristiano Ronaldo and his performance, but it takes away from the Portuguese team. They have a really strong team. It was 3-0. James, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, it was a very interesting game. First of all, it was great to see a packed stadium. Obviously, the Pushka Arena was, I think it was about 57 to 60 odd thousand fans there. It was beautiful to see. Obviously, it's the first time during this COVID time that we're getting to see these kind of numbers at a stadium. But it was an interesting game because Hungary came out with a very distinct game plan, and I think it worked for 75, just about 80 minutes of the game. They really frustrated Portugal, but I think what happened was Portugal made their own problems because there's definitely a lack of chemistry between Jota and Ronaldo, and even Silva, because it was as if at times they just didn't want to pass to each other. And I think as well, I'm still a bit sceptical of the midfield for Portugal. I think Bruno Fernandes had a decent game, but William Carvalho and Delinho didn't have the best of games. And it even just about ended up 1-0 at one point to Hungary because they got a goal. Obviously, it got pulled back. It was offside, I think. But obviously, Ronaldo came up big with the penalty, and that goal at the end was absolutely phenomenal. The way the 1-2 and the little shimmy past the goalkeeper, loved it. And obviously, it was a goal as well from Guerreiro. So it was a good result for Portugal. We say they were favourites in a sense for the tournament, but the scoreline does not reflect the match by any means.
Yes, and as you rightfully pointed out, I would even dare say that this team that they have compared to the last Euros, which seems like forever, I think back in 2016, seems like a much more balanced team. I'm sure it's not a perfect team, but it looks really good. And let's take a quick look at the stats. 70% possession for Portugal, 30 for Hungary, and not much shots on target for Hungary, just 3. But as you said, the game looked pretty even up until a certain point where it looked like it was favoring Hungary. Portugal got their 7 shots, but in the end, James, do you think this game announces officially, because a lot of people were having doubts that Portugal are a force to be reckoned with and could possibly go all the way? What do you think?
Well, I think, I have some reservations, but I definitely think they'll be there or thereabouts. And I think with Ronaldo, he's a star of the show. Let's be honest. He's now the top goal scorer actually of the whole of the Euros, in a sense. So he got that record today. And he will push them as far as he can. As I say, I just hope the other players around him, they start to play together because, as I said, there was a glaring opportunity in the first half when Jota was through and he had the shot himself. Ronaldo was wide open and he would have scored that. I have no doubt about it. And obviously it's selfishness. But I know before the tournament there was a little bit of friction that obviously Diego Jota feels that he could be the new star of the show. Obviously he feels Ronaldo maybe a little old, but at the end of the day, proof's in the pudding. Ronaldo got the 2 goals. But I was really impressed by, at times, the Hungarian team. I think the 12th man and the crowd helped them a lot. Their big striker, I heard the ESPN crew say that he was useless. I beg to differ. I think Salah, or however you pronounce his name, the skipper, he had a job to do. He ran. He's maybe not the most eloquent player. He put himself about, and I think he gave them a focal point. And I think that helped them a lot in the game. So at the end of the day, like I say, it was a good result for Portugal. They're signalling their intentions, but every team so far I think I've seen in the tournament has defensive frailties. Portugal included, Germany, France, Holland. The only team I can say that I didn't see much was obviously Belgium, but they obviously lost their player from Leicester who's going to be out of the tournament now with the injuries. So they will have their own issues as well. So it bodes well for the tournament for the attacking side of things, but I think they need to all tighten up a little bit.
Yep. So, in terms of formations, Portugal played with a 4-2-3-1 according to this. And, a lot of Ruben Diaz, Pepe at the back, Nelson Semedo. On paper, these guys have a pretty strong team, Bernardo Silva, Fernandes, Jota. So we'll see how it goes. I have put them down. I don't want to say a dark horse because Italy is also in that category as well. But I think that they have the ingredients to really go all the way in this tournament. And, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 2 goals. Do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is going to have a very strong individual tournament? Because today, while the team did not play perfect, once again, he comes up with some crucial goals. Do you think that Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be influential this time around, or is it going to be a team effort?
I think he will be. I think he'll probably be the top goal scorer, if not between him and Lukaku maybe. But I just hope the team get that cohesion. They passed as I say, there was glaring moments they didn't pass each other. There was lots of running, and it seemed at points they just didn't want to pass it to Ronaldo. So I just hope they use him to the full, because what's the point of having their star there and not using them? So I hope that's fixed, and I hope that, as I say, I believe they will definitely get to the final. They were my team. I said they were the team that to me was going to win it after the first few games. As I say, I have a few reservations in a few teams. But they will definitely be there or thereabouts, and Ronaldo will be definitely at the top of the leaderboard when it comes to the end.
Yes. And, folks, if you've been looking at all our shows, we've been having guests and fans, send in their videos and give us their thoughts on games. And, James, we had Kevin. Kevin, let's hear it.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me again. Coming into this game, I thought that Portugal would have probably won 3-1. They have the better team, a lot more talent. I thought that Hungary tried to execute a plan similar to what Slovakia did to Poland. But in the end, as I say, the Cristiano Ronaldo effect, the host of attacking players that Portugal had, just came out on top. I went 3-1 because I thought that maybe Hungary, with Salah, might have just about grabbed the goal. They also had, some big tall centre backs, so I thought maybe on a set piece, they could have just nicked one and made the game a little bit interesting. It didn't happen at the end. I thought that for the most part they executed the defensive plan well, but as I said, the quality just shone through. Portugal was way too creative and very, very dominant. I thought once that first goal went in, it would have been an uphill battle even more. That being said, I think Portugal are not without their flaws. I think that their defense is still one that it has not been tested. So I think against the bigger teams in the group, it will be coming up against a real test, and we'll see how that goes. Back to you guys.
All right, once again, Kevin, thank you for your thoughts. Folks, like Kevin, you can send in your videos to us. We try to keep it, 60 seconds and under. I'm sure a lot of you have opinions on your teams, not just on the Euros, but the Copa America. I've been getting a lot of messages about the Argentina game, which, I'll try to squeeze in. So, James, shall we move along to the next game? So, folks, the next match is a match that everybody was kind of looking forward to. The favorites and, the somewhat fallen giants Germany took each other on today. A lot of people are saying France are heavily favored to win the tournament. It's very hard to disagree with that. They have strength from top to bottom, and adding Benzema back into the French fold has really seemed to sharpen this team up. And James, this was a game that did not end with a lot of goals, but it was a lot of end-to-end action. There was an own goal from Hummels, and which kind of shocked a lot of people. But what are your thoughts on this game?
I really enjoyed this game. Yes, it was 1-0, but there was so much on show. I think obviously Germany they'll be disappointed, but I think they could take a lot of heart, and they played some lovely football at times. I think they just lack an in and out striker. I think Narbe up top is not a finisher in my opinion, and I don't think, for looking through their squad, they have somebody there. So that's one glaring weakness they have. But obviously Hummels will be disappointed scoring that own goal, but really I think he didn't put a foot wrong after that. And he even made he made the best tackle I've ever seen probably later on. So he really recovered. Neuer had a few saves. So I think generally the team looked pretty good, but they just lacked that killer instinct. France were just phenomenal at times. I thought Pogba, this is one of the best I've seen Pogba play. I think if Man United can get him playing like this, albeit he has Kante beside him, it'd be something, because some of those passes were nothing short of world class. The pass he made to Mbappe, and obviously Mbappe went through, had the shot, and it obviously ricocheted over Hummels and went in. But the pace of Mbappe as well. Obviously Benzema will be disappointed. He got his goal for the referee to pull it back for an offside. But I mean, it was a good, polished performance from France. The only thing I could say again is I still think defensively there was a few little moments that I could say, well, they may have a problem there, because I think their two full-backs generally play as centre-backs at their clubs a lot of the time. So there is room there in the channels, and I think that could be something as the tournament goes along. They may get a few goals against because of that. But generally, for France, they didn't disappoint. They'll be delighted to get the 1-0 win over Germany, and Germany have to come back good.
Yeah, and listen, Germany, and we'll get to the formations and so on, but they dominated possession. Löw has been using that three at the back formation, and he has come under a lot of criticism for it. I mean, even when they won the World Cup back in 2014, he had to make some tactical adjustments where he actually started off with 3 and then switched to 4, bringing Lam was in the defensive midfield position, if I remember correctly, and then eventually he had to revert back to 4 at the back. And, while they had lots and lots of possession, Germany did not play bad. I'm just going to say that. But, they did not produce enough to really break down the French. This is going to be the Germans' coach last tournament with Germany. He's going to head out. We know who's going to take over. Do you think that he has to make a lot of tactical changes in this game, or should he stick with his game plan when he plays the other team up next?
Well, I think he's going to have to find a goal scorer, because at the end of the day, I mean, obviously the way this formation is set up, I mean, the 3 at the back, to me, it's like a 3-4-2-1. Obviously, Gnabry is the focal point. I don't think he's going to get goals that way, so he's got a big decision to make. I think he's got, obviously, is it Sané on the bench who came on? He's got Timo Werner there. He may have to, I think he's going to have to tinker a little bit to get goals. I think, as I say, midfield-wise, they can knock the ball about for fun. And as I say, there was some really elegant passing. They looked good going forward, but it was as if they were very much lopsided as well, in my opinion. Everything was going down the right. I mean, I counted at one point, it was 5 times going down the right and 1 only go down the left. So they need to kind of shift it up. And I think France clocked onto that. So he's going to have to tactically switch things. As I say, whether it is he brings in Folland, as I say, it was on the bench, he came on, I think, the striker, but he's not a clinical striker, in my opinion. So he really has to find something. And for them to obviously go far, that's obviously going to be a glaring problem they have. But as I say, I think they'll be quietly optimistic, because I think they can go and beat Hungary, although Hungary will be very difficult. And we know, obviously, the top 3 teams go through. The game against Portugal will be interesting, because I know, although Portugal can go forward, they've got problems at the back too. So that'll be an interesting matchup as well. So I think they've got a lot to play for, but they have to find the goal scorer.
Yes, and interesting question. You spoke about Manchester United and Pogba. What do you think that? I think I know how you're going to answer this, but why is it? What does Deschamps do that's different from Solskjaer that gets Pogba to perform better for France than he does? I mean, I know where you're going with this, but I'd love to hear your opinion.
Well, I think the fact that he has Kante beside him. I mean, I think sometimes people underestimate Kante as well, because I think he's not necessarily always defensive. He can do both his box to box. But I think because Kante drops in, it gives Pogba that freedom to go forward, that creativity that he has. He's able to make the passes and know that he has somebody beside him that's good enough, and he knows he's got that cover there too. I made a suggestion to a friend of mine who's a Man United fan. Man United need to go out and get somebody like that. I believe the player is probably Kamara from Rangers, my team, because I believe he is very much a carbon copy of Kante. So I think if Man United were to get that, it'd be great for Pogba. But I really think Pogba should probably think about his options, maybe go to Real Madrid because if he wants to show that he has this class like he has, I don't know if he can do it at Man United.
Yep, and I know this is slightly off topic, but that's one of the issues I have with Manchester United since they signed him. I think when he was at Juventus, he was also played in an advanced role with Pirlo and those guys behind him, helping him. So, he was able to basically have that freedom to do what he does. And, I'm not seeing it, and now we're seeing it with France. And hopefully they saw that out for you Manchester United fans. I couldn't care less about Manchester United. But, we're doing our analysis on the players. So, we have something, once again, we have a little bit from Kevin, who has something to add. So, Kevin, let's hear what you have to say.
Hi, guys. Coming into this one, I went for a score draw. I thought it would have been a tight affair. because I don't think Germany are as bad as everyone are making them out to be, and it proved that way. It was a tactical game. I think rather surprisingly, France came out with a deeper line to draw Germany out. This was to, utilize the space in behind and the pace of Mbappe, Griezmann and Benzema, who are probably the best attack in the Euros right now. For the most part, Germany coped with it well. I mean, going down to the world champions 1-0 via own goal is not a bad result. I thought that Germany controlled large parts of the game. They created chances, which was something that everyone wondered if they would do. I think the biggest problem for Germany right now is that goal scorer. They are lacking an out-and-out number 9, maybe like a Miroslav closer type player to just put the ball in the back of the net. I think they will have to work on that, but they can definitely get something out of the Portugal game. It seems that ultimately coming out of this group might come down to goal difference. You think that Germany would boss the Portugal game just like they bossed this game in terms of possession and creating the chances, but we have to see the ball hitting the back of the net for Germany. I just want to make a quick comment on Paul Pogba. I thought he was exceptional today. He controlled the midfield, and those 2 passes just before the goal were absolutely world class. Back to you guys.
All right, Kevin, once again, thanks a lot. Folks, if you'd like to send in your thoughts, feel free to do so, because we like to hear feedback from everybody. We've been getting feedback from all over the planet so far: Czech Republic, Denmark, and of course, a good old-fashioned home, Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. In case you folks didn't know, you can't see the palm trees on the beaches because we're indoors because of COVID-19. So we're trying to make it fun and add that Caribbean touch with some Scottish flavor as well, folks, which is James. So James, let's continue this discussion. This was a game today. There was a lot of talking points. Let's hear them.
Well, I think first of all, one of the funny talking points was obviously Rudiger trying to take a bite out of Pogba. I mean, I don't know if he was thinking about the game before and he was hungry. I don't know, or he was thinking about Luis Suarez. He did it back in the day, but they seemed to hug up and cuddle each other after the game, so there was no animosity there. But during the game, he seemed to it looked as if he tried to take a bite out of him.
It looked that way to me because when I saw it, I was like, no way. I mean, this. Footballers have to know there's so much cameras on them now. Even if it's probably a goof, he just kind of like, even with the mic, if I'm making a recreation of it, even if I go like this, during a game, if somebody puts their teeth into you, you're going to feel it. James, you've played, even if you played at a recreational level, that's going to bring a reaction. Maybe he was trying to provoke Pogba, but I mean, it seemed as if, as you said, he took it in good spirits afterwards. I even remembered when Suarez did it in the last World Cup with Chiellini, I remember. Chiellini reacted, and after the game, it's almost like Chiellini was defending him. He was like, no, it's all good. So, I don't know. Maybe these guys are saying, listen, it's part of the game. And I really don't know how to respond to this because I don't know how to react if someone bites me in a football game. And even if it's a joke, especially, with the way how the world is today with pathogens and germs and viruses and stuff.
Especially during the COVID situation, obviously.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't want to be obviously sharing, I don't want to say sharing bodily fluid, that's taken a bit far, but you know what I mean? Saliva, etc.,
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
The other funny point was obviously Joachim Löw getting back to his old ways. I mean, I don't know what he has. I don't know if it's a nervous thing, he's sniffing his fingers when he's nervous.
Yep.
And we can probably look at that picture actually,
Yeah, I try hard not to, but it's burned in my memories, poking his body cavities constantly. Like, it probably used to work for him before, nibbling on his nails, digging in his nose, but it clearly isn't working anymore. Maybe the magic of the mucus is not working anymore or whatever. Because I saw it and I rolled my eyes and I was like, oh, this guy, man. He obviously knows, and he knows that people are seeing him, and he obviously couldn't care less.
It's probably the fact that maybe it's his last time in the limelight. We know because he's stepping down as Germany coach. He may not get a chance to do it again, so maybe this is the last one.
one last nose dig before the light goes out, folks. Before he goes into the sunset, I'll dig my nose one last time. Imagine that could be a movie title, The Last Nose Dig. But listen, folks, let us know what you think. I mean, besides tactics, that's hilarious. What do you think about the bite, or apparently not bite, on Pogba, and also
the bite and the sniff?
Yeah, and the sniff. So there's a lot of biting and there's a lot of sniffing and a lot of digging. I don't know, folks. This is something that we don't usually talk about. That's a hilarious side about football, So France look. I mean, although the game ended 1-0, I think both coaches we'll probably have a lot to discuss heading into both games. France, Mbappe scored a really brilliant goal, which was unfortunately ruled offside. But I mean, that must have been scary for the opposition coach, because he basically stopped, managed to get his composure with defenders in and around him, maybe not close enough, and then place it around a massive Manuel Neuer. I mean, that I was like stunned. I was like, wow, that's cocky. That's like a knife through the heart of the German players, and eventually it was called off. So before we end things off, James, France, and then Benzema scored a goal as well, which was offside. So they are starting to click, and you know what? A lot of people are saying this, James, that it seemed as if France has a couple other gears to switch into. I've seen great French teams and other teams never get to that second gear though. So a lot of people, we have to make sure that they get there, because I've seen very good teams, France included. I think I remember it was Euro 2004, Zidane and all these guys, and it just never clicked. It was Zidane, Thierry Henry, and they beat England in a close game like this in the first game. I think it's from a free kick from Zidane and a penalty kick from Thierry Henry. That was a very strong team, and they just never got going. They just sort of limped along. So we as maybe neutrals, fans will have to hope that they really start clicking, because peaking too early or not peaking at all in a tournament really can hurt a team. I've seen really good teams just flunk out of tournaments because it just didn't happen at the right time. So we'll see.
I think the other interesting talking point is obviously VAR, because obviously we have 2 goals ruled out. Obviously from a German point of view, they'd be happy with it. But I think one thing that was glaring to me, which I really don't like, is, and it wasn't necessarily goals, but why do they have to wait till, let's say, it's back in the goalkeeper's hands or the shot's been taken before they call it back? Because it wastes so much time. There was times that obviously they go right through on goal and the referee pulls it back in both games. And I find such a waste that you have to wait till the end outcome before the linesman puts up his flag. And obviously twice today, obviously goals disallowed. It's not the best, but this is the decision they've made with VAR, so interesting.
Yep, and that's a thing. Apparently, it's a thing in the rules where I think when they wait till the play is over or something, we could check it out and confirm that with Michael Ragunath on Ask the Ref, folks. So we have a lot of things to talk about. So we may have Michael Ragunath very busy. James, strangely enough, we only had these games today, but it's going to pick back up in the next couple of days with the Copa America. I'll just add something before we go with the Copa America. So apparently, I just read that, there's a lot of COVID cases with the staff. I can't get the exact numbers here, but, it popped up, and, it's kind of scary because, a lot of people are not surprised that this is happening. Will the tournament continue? Will this affect anything? Everybody had doubts about this tournament. So, we'll have a further discussion about that. And also, Eriksen, we all very traumatized by what took place with Eriksen, James. And, we got some nice words from Jesper Christensen about it. And, those nice gestures from Lukaku. But on his Instagram today, James, I'm going to read out what was said from Christian Eriksen. He had a nice thumbs up picture saying, hello everyone, big thanks for your sweet and amazing greetings and messages from all around the world. It means a lot to me and my family. I'm fine under the circumstances. I still have to go through some examinations at the hospital, but I feel okay. Now I will cheer on the boys on the Denmark team in the next matches. Play for all of Denmark. Best, Christian. So James, we didn't get to talk about this much, but it's good to see that Eriksen is in good spirits. Unfortunately, and maybe I'll elaborate on another time, this is a situation I could relate to a lot. What are your thoughts on Christian looking like he's in good spirits?
Well, I'm absolutely delighted to hear that. Obviously it was a traumatic moment, obviously more so for him and his family, but obviously for the whole world too. We watched on, and we all thought the worst. So I'm so glad. Obviously, the medical team did such a wonderful job, even the referee in the time. And as I say, we just want to send our love to him and his family, because as I say, we know it's a tough time. And I hope also the world leaves him to rest a little bit as well. Yes, he wants to support his team, but we have to give the family a little privacy as well. We send in our love, but let them rest and let them get back to, let's say, full vigour. And also find out why it happened, because that's very important, because that will allow him to make his decision, whether he plays, whether he doesn't play. But at the end of the day, that's his decision. So as I say, I'm delighted that he's feeling better, and I'm glad. It's a beautiful message to the team. I hope Denmark as well can now focus on their game now, and it was difficult. We talked about how that they shouldn't have played the game, maybe, etc. But it will give them a little bit of I don't want to say closure, but you know what I mean. They can focus now on their football. So yeah, so absolutely delighted he's okay.
Yes. You know, I definitely agree. You know, this is something that scared us all. I know we spoke about it in detail in the first episode, and you all can take a look at that if you want, with some comments from Jesper Christiansen. And you know, one of the things that really shocked me today is that I also read some news that UEFA apparently told them, if you all don't play this, you know, you'll lose the game 3-0. And I don't know the full context. I'm just reading the headline I see here, but you know, I thought that was not a very tasteful thing. I understand when you're running a tournament, there's logistics, you have certain things to run, but there's a human element that you have to have in there. And I get that the tournament has to go on. This is very big, but this is where the human element comes in, James. So, you know, what are your thoughts on, you know, UEFA basically stating that, you know, if they didn't play, they would have been deducted points. What if they decided not to play and they got their points? They lost the game 3-0. What would have been your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a shocking statement to make, and I said if that's true. But and if they did, you know, deduct these points and obviously give them a 3-0 loss, I think the whole world would have stood up. I mean, I think you would have probably seen some kind of protests, etc. But I mean, it's done now. We're better not dwelling on it. But I really hope that they didn't, and if they did, I hope they at least apologise for it, because it's definitely distasteful. At the end of the day, I think I read somewhere that, you know, if there's somebody explaining on ESPN, I think it was, about if, you know, I can't remember if it was a COVID cancellation, it would be so much time, you know, and somebody just about died and they didn't even give them 24 hours. So, you know, there's rules there. I know they have a tournament to run, but have a little compassion. That's all I will say.
Yep, and I'm just going to read something before we end things off. So apparently it was from Peter Schmeichel. He has claimed that I'll just read it out real quick. The former goalkeeper says his country had little choice but to restart the game against Finland despite seeing a key player rush to the hospital. Peter Schmeichel has claimed that UEFA threatened Denmark with a 3-0 forfeit if they did not resume their opening Euro 2020 fixture after Christian Eriksen's cardiac arrest. So that's if what it is true, and then he said it, you know, that's pretty messed up. So I know, like, you know, I'll end this off while I'm agreeing with James. You know, I understand the logistics of it, but there's a human element. I personally think that was kind of not tasteful on the part of UEFA. And, you know, fans, you can let us know what you think about that, because, you know, I would have perfectly understood if they decided not to play, and it seems as if the opposition agreed as well, and everybody was okay. And I you know, I've worked around these tournaments, and I understand how extremely complicated things are when they don't go how they're supposed to. I've been on the footballing side, and I've been on the organizational side. I can tell you it's not easy. It's very exhausting. You know, sometimes you have to almost think with tunnel vision and focus on certain things. But this is someone's life, and I don't think anybody would have been faulted. And I'm guessing it would take someone like Peter Schmeichel to really speak out for that issue to be addressed and, you know, call them on it. So, you know, folks, let us know what you think in the comment section about that, about the Germany-France game. Also, you know, Hungary, Portugal. And, you know, we have lots of games coming up. The Copa America resumes and the Euros continue. We also have our fantasy league. I'll put a link in the description below where you all can join in. Right now in our EXTV league, it's myself, James, and Jordan Riley. So, you know, and I don't know who else has joined in because I've been doing all these videos for you kind folks. We'll do this. So, James, you know, once again, it's always a pleasure, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Let us know your thoughts, suggestions, and, you know, just your general questions. And we will have them answered because we appreciate the feedback. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our tweets, and also our website that it's almost on the, well, it's almost done. We're revamping it for you guys. So, you know, we have little articles and blogs in there that you all can check out. So, once again, it's been a huge pleasure, folks. And like I said before, thank you for joining us. Just a reminder, everyone, for more episodes with Shaka Hislop, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, interviews, and content.